open the hearing on Senate Bill 300, which makes an appropriation to the Clark County School District for a program of peer assistance and review of teachers. And when you're ready, you may begin.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. For the record, I'm Mo Dennis, presenting Senate Bill number 2 in Clark County. And I appreciate the opportunity to present Senate Bill 300 for your consideration. The origins of this bill date back to the 2011 session when we passed 3 bills addressing evaluations for educational personnel. That legislation was followed up in 2013 with SB 407, which further refined the evaluation statute and, more significantly, added a component of peer evaluation. In response, the Clark County School District began a pilot project to test a limited rollout of this model. The Peer Assistance and Review Program, or PAR, is evidence-based and was developed in consultation with Montgomery County, Maryland, which has successfully used this model for 15 years. PAR is a partnership between CCSD and the Clark County Education Association, so it has the broad buy-in that is so essential for a successful initiative. The program leverages expertise and excellence of the district's best teachers, referred to as consulting teachers, who help their peers in need of support, perhaps because they are new to the profession or are teaching in a challenging classroom. PAR is guided by a 10-member panel made up of 5 CCEA teachers and 5 CCSD administrators. The panel selects the consulting teachers who make a 3-year commitment to help 10 to 15 of their peers. I'm sure you will hear more about the program today from folks from the district and from CCEA. Though the program is relatively new in Clark County, there is a ton of evidence that it works. Over the years, various organizations have reported data on the relative performance of national education systems around the world. Observers have asked questions about what sets apart the top performers from countries that are struggling like the United States. In response, a great deal of research has been undertaken to find the answers. There are several reasons for the educational growth and success of other nations, but one reason stands apart. High-performing countries have professionalized the job of teaching. They don't view teachers as mere employees to deliver a standardized product according to a predetermined formula. They are professionals with deep subject knowledge who are empowered to customize education according to the needs of each student and the topic being taught. Teachers in high-performing jurisdictions have acquired the expertise necessary to deliver this high-quality education through a system of job-embedded professional development. Teachers are in constant communication with other teachers who observe their classroom work, share productive critiques, and collaborate on strategies to improve their craft. This system of peer interaction and accountability, along with other public policy measures, has led to continuous improvement in teaching quality and has made teaching a true profession like medicine and the law. It is good that we are asking our teachers to interact in a meaningful way toward mutual improvement and to hold one another accountable as peers, as professionals. CCSD and CCEA have partnered to lay the groundwork for this paradigm shift in educator development. Last session, we made serious investment in PAR through the passage of SB 332, which appropriated $1 million in each year of the current biennium for the CCSD program. Senate Bill 300 continues the evolution and ramp-up of the program by doubling our commitment to PAR. It appropriates $2 million in each year of the upcoming biennium. Although the bill calls for the program to be continued only in Clark County, I'd like to suggest it be expanded to Washoe County as well. Madam Chair, that concludes my presentation. I appreciate your consideration of this bill, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Senator Dennis? Seeing none right now. Oh, I'm sorry, Senator Goycochea.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And Senator Dennis, would there be an additional cost then if it was expanded into Washoe County?
I believe so. They will come up, I believe, in when we get to that, and we can see what
Thank you,
that will
sir.
be.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Senator Dennis. And I believe
I think we have some folks from,
Mr.
Clark
Small and Ms. Rourke, I think you two are up next, or is it just Mr. Small? Okay. All right, go ahead. Bring whomever you want up to begin.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Theo Small, for the record, Vice President of Clark County Education Association. I also have a couple of folks from the South. We're going to do this from both sides of the state. I'll let them introduce themselves. Oh, hit the microphone there.
Good morning, Jill Pendleton.
Good morning, Dr. David Villette, UNLV.
And good morning, Mike Barton, Chief Academic Officer with the Clark County School District. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you all very much, and you may begin with your presentation.
Thank you. So I just want to give you a little context, and then we appreciate Senator Dennis and his work, but I also want to recognize Senator Ford, Senators Roberson and Hammond, who brought this SB 332 in the 2015 session, and appreciate their leadership. As Principal Pendleton, who you met down there, she is my co-chair, and so she represents the administrators on the PAR panel. I represent the teachers on the PAR panel. We have several consulting teachers, mentees. I have principals in PAR schools who are on a bus right now from Reno, so if we get interrupted, I apologize, but there'll be some folks who will be coming in. As mentioned, as Senator mentioned, this is an initiative that was also not only with the Clark County School District and Clark County Education Association, but also the Administrators Union. And so this is one of the unique opportunities that we have in this work to actually think, how do we improve the practice, particularly of our newest professionals, in this case, our toughest schools, our toughest to fill schools. And as mentioned, the work centers around the language around peer evaluation or peer observations. This work, just for clarification, I know that we are here to talk about the money of it, but I just want to make sure that it's clear that you understand the work behind it. This is about peers supporting other peers. We'll discuss the schools that we started out with. There were 19 schools that we started the first year of this program. Last year, because of the retention of new teachers, we were able to, with the same money that you gave us, the $1 million that you gave Clark County School District, we were able to expand that to 25 schools. So we were able, through retention support, to move to larger monies. And we look forward to being able to ask for additional money so we can actually double the amount of teachers. It was 250 new teachers the first year, 250 this current year. That includes 30 teachers who received a second year of support. And so if we double that, we are looking at about half of the brand new teachers new to the profession who would be able to get supported through this program. The initiative, like we mentioned, is to support novice teachers. That is different in Clark County. That's where we started, to make sure that new to the profession teachers were given the supports. When we began this work in 2013 with the school district, we looked at multiple ways that we wanted to save money and support teachers. And so this was the first initiative that we actually started on, to be able to retain new teachers, and not only just retain them in these schools, but also make sure and ensure that their actual teaching was the best teaching it could possibly be for first-year teachers. The standards around the NEPF are the standards that we use, and there are three components that we'll just go through very quickly with the PAR panel, the consulting teacher, and the PAR advisory.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. Again, my name is Jill Pendleton, and I am the co-chair with Theo. I am also the president of CASA, the Administrators Union in Clark County, and the principal of of Clark High School. I've had the opportunity to be engaged in this work for about 2 years, and I have seen the substantial impact that these consulting teachers have had on our novice teachers. I began as a member of the PAR panel, which again is a 12-member team, 6 teachers and 6 school-based administrators. And this is really a wonderful, unique collaborative because in this work, we have 2 unions, 2 organizations that are coming together for a common cause. And it's been wonderful to see these organizations grow in their relationships and their work. The PAR panel members are accountable to these organizations and also work closely with the consulting teachers. The real work of the PAR panel occurs 3 times a year, and we are assigned to a PAR pair. So I am a member of the PAR panel, and I'm assigned to a 2 wonderful consulting teachers that we meet with 3 times a year. And during this process, the consulting teachers brief the members of the PAR panel on the performance of the new teachers that they have been observing and working with throughout the school year. We talk about areas of strength, and we also identify areas of concern. And most importantly, we engage in dialogue about recommendations for improvement and further progress of our novice teachers. Ultimately, the PAR panel sends recommendations for teacher contract renewal to the superintendent. Moving now to the consulting teachers. The consulting teachers really do provide the heart of the work and the support to our novice teachers. We currently have 13 CTs, and I have been so inspired by their work and their real dedication to the understanding of the new Nevada Educator Performance Framework. And when I watch them work and engage in conversations with them, I truly believe that they are the instructional leaders in terms of the understanding of the NEPF, and they have dedicated their work to understanding the standards and indicators and those implications in the classroom, and then working with our brand new teachers to not only conquer that first year of teaching, but to also do so from that very first day in alignment with our new Nevada Educator Performance Framework. They truly are the experts on these standards and indicators. These individuals are proven leaders. We had the opportunity, we were very deliberate in our selection of our consulting teachers. We talked to administrators in the schools in which they were teaching. We actually sent PAR panel pairs to their classrooms and observed them in action. And we felt confident that we hired 13 amazing individuals to work with our new teachers. They are currently working with 250 mentees, 30 of which are in year 2, which is a strong indicator that this support is valued by the administrators and the principals in the building that are asking our consulting teachers to continue work with those teachers that could still use that coaching and that support. The PAR advisory, again, reflective of a wonderful collaboration of stakeholders that are engaged in the work of education and want to make meaningful impact, composed of trustees, associate superintendents, members of our community, higher ed, business partners, and members of our state legislatures. These people guide the work of the PAR panel. They have been monitoring our progress, reflecting on the research, and truly coming up with suggestions so that the committee and all members of the PAR panel, CCEA and CASA are doing targeted work and providing meaningful changes and shifts in our thinking along the way to make sure that the direction and influence of PAR is moving in that direction in which had been identified initially in this pilot program in our district. And then lastly, the school demographics, just to touch on the types of schools that PAR is currently serving. PAR is not in my high school, but I would welcome this type of support for my new teachers in my high school. I think that it's a wonderful addition and complement to the work that is being done in our schools with our principals, our assistant principals, and our administrators to really, again, provide that targeted support around the NEPF. So currently, PAR is supporting 15 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, and 8 high schools. And it's been a wonderful opportunity to be a part of this work. I think I'm most proud of the collaborative nature of this work. Truly members, stakeholders in our state that are coming together to make a difference for the students in our state. Thank you.
Chair Woodhouse, members of the committee, again, Mike Barton, Chief Academic Officer for the record. My pleasure to be here today. I think I just want to start with, I've been involved with this work for about 4 years. I was on the original fact-finding mission in Montgomery County to research PAR and what it's all about. And I think what it's all about is teacher retention, but also these teachers who stay in our system for longer periods of time. It's about student achievement as well. We know that research shows that teachers between 1 to 5 years of experience nationally, we lose too many of them. So PAR is designed to retain those teachers and then ultimately get us better student achievement results. So the slide that has the mentee breakdown by month, when you look at the last school year, we had a number of teachers who are hired in the beginning, leading to that number of mentees who are supported by the PAR program. But again, this is just scratching the surface of the number of new hires that we have as a system. It's roughly 25% of our new hires. As Mr. Small indicated, this request through SB 300 would get us closer to about half of our new teachers being supported systemically with PAR and peer assistance and review. With the second year of PAR support, as Ms. Pendleton talked about, 30 who required just that little additional support for a second year, 23 of those 30 have been successful. They'll no longer require support. They're on the trajectory to be great teachers. 2 have resigned, and then 5 have moved away or moved to another school that does not have PAR support. So the bottom line, with the number of teachers we're supporting, CCEA and CCSD, it's all about supporting teachers, but if there's a teacher at the end of the road that's not cutting it, obviously CCEA and CCSD have that commitment that we need quality instructors in the classroom. The second slide just shows, I think, the commitment that all parties have regarding this initiative. While there was a legislative appropriation of $1 million during the last session, the district and CCEA saw the need to subsidize that support. So as you can see in the first column, the Clark County School District provided additional dollars through the general fund to support additional salaries and benefits, provided substitutes for the CTs so they could get additional training. Technology was supported. The mileage was supported to support the CTs who are traveling from school to school, and supplies. So that cost as far as support was approximately $463,000. CCEA also has been to the table providing dollars for training, surveys, the PAR panel, and research, totaling $68,350. But I would be remiss if I did not mention CCEA has been nationally recognized for this work. They've worked with the NEA Foundation regarding PAR, and it's definitely been something that's been highlighted nationally as far as this pilot in the Clark County School District. The next part will pivot to research, and I'll have a person much smarter than me take that part as far as what we're finding with this pilot in the Clark County School District.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, Dr. David Villette, UNLV from the record. I'm the evaluator on PAR for the past 2 years. In order to conduct the initial research, we sent out surveys to all new teachers within the district based upon both rubrics of the NEPF, one for high leverage teaching practices and one for professional standards. We also examined teacher retention rate within the district and within PAR schools. This year's research will incorporate those as well as actual NEPF evaluations of new teachers and a pre and post survey. So the results I'm presenting are preliminary but promising. I'll spare you some of the numbers. What we found is, in terms of confidence in their own instructional practices, PAR participants didn't fare any better, but where they did fare better is confidence in their ability to meet other professional standards, things like communicating well with parents, networking with colleagues, dealing with individual education plans, things of that nature. They were slightly less likely to express confidence in their ability to work with English language learners, and they're the teachers who are in the schools with the greatest number of English language learners. It's one of those things where it comes back to having a little more realistic understanding of their own abilities, which we consider a good thing in reflective practice and teaching. It means they're more likely to work to improve upon that as well. Finally, and I think here is the most important result thus far because it represents a return on investment for both the legislature and the district. Across those 2 years, so last year, 74% of the first-year teachers within PAR schools remained within those schools for this school year, as opposed to 70% and numbers lower than that in the previous school years. So comparing in the same schools, and these are the most difficult to staff schools in Clark County, we've increased the number of teachers who stay with those schools. Likewise, the non-renewal rate, Dr. Barton just spoke about wanting quality educators. Unfortunately, some of those at the very bottom aren't of the quality that is needed, but the coaching has reduced the percentage of teachers who fall into that category from 1.5 to 0.3 to 0.1 across the past 3 years, which, while the raw numbers aren't huge, the raw numbers of teachers in these schools aren't enormous either. It's a benefit in improving the less able teachers in these schools to provide quality instruction. I'm going to pass back to Mr. Small for plans for expansion. Thank you.
So in closing, just a couple points. This additional funds would minimally give us the chance to have up to 300 additional new teachers in Clark County. We would be able to also hire an additional 7 consulting teachers in this continued work. We are a year behind the work in Washoe County, and I know that they will speak about their successes as well. The one thing that we know, because I know you're looking for return on investment, that we know on a national average that it's somewhere between $10,000 to $20,000 if you lose a teacher who's been trained. So with onboarding of a teacher, with the professional development of a teacher, so the money saved that we actually retain teachers is actually increased through the overall budget to the county. So we'd be happy to answer any questions, would be able to, we'll be here, all 4 of us will be here, and then we look forward to continue this conversation.
Thank you to all 4 presenters. Before I go to questions, just want to ask all 4 of you that if you have your remarks in writing, if you would please either give a hard copy to our staff or even better, if you could email those to us so that we have them for the record. And Senator Dennis, you as well. Okay? All right, so questions for any of these 4 presenters on the Senate Bill 300? Senator Goycochea.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning, everybody. Bright Monday morning. How many, with the $2 million appropriation, about how many consultants would that put in place?
Theo Small for the record. So the first year that we had PAR, we had 16 consulting teachers. And so we were able to keep that, again, like I mentioned, we were able to keep that same amount. So we have 13 this year, but we increased from 19 to 25 schools.
With the 13 consultants?
Correct.
Okay, but that was the last biennium, and that was with $1 million appropriation?
Yes.
Okay, so you anticipate 25 or so with the $2 million appropriation?
So for the record, Theo Small, Senator, we're going to put in as many as we can, because if we get this appropriation to doubling that amount, that would be a total of around 500 teachers. And so we would have to then have the conversation about how many actual consulting teachers would that be. They're going to multiple schools, so consulting teachers have 2 to 3 schools right now. So we would just look at the numbers depending on how many actual new teachers we could actually support, and then figure out a ratio of 1 to 15 on the consulting teachers.
And that's what you strive for, one consultant to 15 new teachers?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Further questions? I don't see any right now, so thank you very much. Next, we'll go to support for Senate Bill 300. And we have 3 chairs here in Carson City, so just come on forward. And if we have speakers in Las Vegas, please come forward and occupy those chairs. We'll start here in Carson City And Ms. Rourke, you want to go ahead first?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Nicole Rourke, representing the Clark County School District. As you've already heard from several other folks from Clark County, we do support the bill for a variety of reasons, but the reason why I came to the table today is to discuss an amendment that we submitted. It is considered a friendly amendment. CCA, Clark County School District, and UNLV all got together to look at how the program went last time and decided that an amendment might be appropriate to include some other additional expenses in the allowable use of funds for the grants that would come forward, to include mileage, supplies, and professional development and substitutes for that professional development. Those are the types of things that we did fund from our general fund previously and think that they should be allowed by the grant. So just here to present this friendly amendment to you and ask for your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Senator Ford.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good to see you, Nicole. Friendly amendment in the sense that the sponsors have accepted it.
Yes, I presented it to Senator Dennis as well as to CCA.
Great, thank you.
Any further questions of Ms. Rourke? Okay, seeing none, thank you. Go ahead.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, my name is Lou Marcuzes, the principal at Lohman Elementary School, located in the Northeast Valley of Las Vegas in one of the most economically disadvantaged neighborhoods in the state. The Peer Assistance and Review Program assists teachers in the most neediest schools in the CCSD. Many of the schools that are supported by PAR are schools that have either currently going through a turnaround zone process or have been a part of that, have exited. And this process is vital in order to make systemic changes in these schools, systems, functions, and processes. The PAR coaches that have been selected to coach and mentor new teachers are highly effective practitioners of the field of education. Through all of my observations as a building administrator, PAR coaches incorporate a variety of instructional strategies, working closely as a shoulder partner to our most vulnerable employees, our new teachers. In addition, PAR provides teachers with strategies on building lasting student and parent relationships. They work closely with teachers on research-based, highly effective instructional strategies, which lead to an increase in achievement. I certainly support this particular position with PAR, and I'd like to thank Madam Chair as well as members of the committees for this opportunity to speak to you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, go ahead.
Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Anna Sliding, and I am representing Hope for Nevada, Honoring Our Public Education, a nonprofit group representing nearly 1,000 families in support of public education in Southern Nevada. In addition to being a mom on Hope, I'm also a teacher. I currently serve on the Department of Education's Teacher Preparation Committee, although the primary purpose of my subcommittee is to determine which teacher preparation programs are most beneficial to K-12 outcomes. Whether it be through alternative or traditional licensure, we unanimously agree that teacher preparation is just one piece to a new teacher's success. The other piece is as a new teacher having a good mentor for at least their first year of teaching. From my own experience, I had an excellent mentor in my first year of teaching. It was in Utah. My principal ensured that my classroom was next to my mentor's classroom and that I had ample opportunity to collaborate with my mentor. It solidified my desire to not only be a good and effective educator, but also to stay in education. At Hope, we believe that PAR provides an excellent mentorship program for new teachers. We have seen successes with those new teachers who have had the opportunity to participate. We would love to see PAR eventually expand to include all new teachers. We are definitely in favor of SB 300. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you. And we'll go to Las Vegas. We have two people at the table. Go ahead.
Oh, good morning. My name is Meredith Smith, and I am representing Nevada Succeeds. Nevada Succeeds fully supports SB 300. Peer Assistance and Review, or PAR, is a direct and proven approach to support teachers in a way that translates into student achievement. The PAR approach of supporting teachers directly aligns with Nevada Succeeds' approach to the type of policies that deserve full support in our efforts toward public education improvement and student achievement, because it recognizes that even though accountability is needed, accountability of teachers' performance, as well as that of educators in general, is meaningless unless they have the tools and professional resources to succeed. We hope that in funding SB 300, the conversation about how to most effectively improve public education outcomes in Nevada will shift from a discussion centered around school choice, accountability, and the amount of money spent on public education to a conversation about what actually works for student achievement improvement. We know that professional mentoring and support for teachers benefit students. We literally and figuratively cannot afford to talk about educator accountability, dollars, and school choice any longer unless we are even more willing to discuss how initiatives and programs like PAR benefit students because they benefit the ongoing professional development and appropriate support of teachers. Last June, Nevada Succeeds presented 3 systemic and 2 programmatic recommendations for still needed changes in public education in Nevada, even after the 2015 session produced major gains in public education. Expanding PAR was one of those top 5 recommendations. All of the recommendations, which were made by a group of diverse education stakeholders from across Nevada, point to the fact that we must have well-supported and professional educators teaching and guiding our students. As an organization, we hope that the conversation in public education shifts to a conversation about how vital professional support and professional standards are for all types of educators, not just teachers. We believe one way to do this is for many of the components of PAR to be integrated into the teaching profession so that all teachers have the opportunity to develop the type of professionalism and get the appropriate assistance early in their careers. This will not only benefit students in the short term, but it will help ensure education, and specifically teaching, is a profession that is both retaining highly skilled and trained educators, and also one that is attracting the type of human talent we will always need to educate students. Nevada Succeeds fully supports SB 300. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, we'll go ahead to the next person in Las Vegas. Or is that chair empty? Okay. Only one person. All right, we'll come up here to Carson City. Mr. Daly, you want to go ahead first?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chris Daly, Nevada State Education Association, representing 40,000 educators across Nevada, working to ensure high-quality public education for every Nevada student. NSCA supports SB 300, an appropriation to the Clark County School District for a program of peer assistance and review, or PAR, and we seek an amendment to expand PAR statewide. Peer assistance and review is an important program to assist new teachers and those whose practice is in need of improvement. PAR not only improves classroom instruction, but is an important program to retain qualified classroom teachers. Last session, SB 332 funded the Peer Assistance and Review pilot program in Clark County, targeting current and former turnaround schools. Our local Clark County Education Association, as you've heard, has worked with the school district to utilize consulting teachers to assist new teachers by providing individualized and ongoing professional development and support. This program has proven successful and should be expanded beyond the current school sites utilizing the program. Meanwhile, I think it's important also to note that Washoe County has had a program of peer assistance and review since 2013, which is mandatory for all novice teachers and underperforming educators. While this program also has proven successful, we're afraid that it's threatened by budget cuts related to the Washoe County School District's projected budget deficit. NSCA supports expanding the peer assistance and review program in Clark County, while also acknowledging that an appropriation may be necessary to save the program in Washoe. Looking forward, NSCA hopes that PAR can be expanded statewide to continuously improve the teaching profession. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, go ahead.
Good morning, Madam Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Tracy Wilking. I am a consulting teacher with Peer Assistance and Review in Clark County School District. Programs such as Great Teaching and Leading such as the Great Teaching and Leading Fund and ARL Get Teachers into Schools. The Peer Assistance and Review Consulting Teachers' role is to increase retention of these new teachers. We work with 250 brand-new teachers in 25 of Clark County School District's most at-risk schools. Many of our brand-new teachers are from out of state. They are alternate route to licensure and business and industry licensed. They are not familiar with the student population they serve, and many ARL teachers have very little classroom experience prior to starting. As consulting teachers, we work one-on-one with up to 25 teachers to help them learn and implement the NEPF standards in their instruction and help them overcome the challenges of learning to teach with the limited experience they bring into teaching. We work cooperatively with administrators to support them in helping the new teachers. Dr. Monica Cortez, principal of Western High School, and Mr. David Kirkhart, assistant principal of Western High School, asked that I share with you their thoughts on the impact that the PAR consulting teachers have had on their school. I quote, "Western has a population of nearly 2,700 students. Western High School is a Title I school serving an urban diverse population. Our student transiency rate is over 47%. Our graduation rate has risen from 39% in 2012 to over 72% in 2016. We have 130 licensed positions and nearly 50 first through third year probationary teachers on our campus. This is our second formal year working with PAR consulting teachers. PAR consulting teachers work directly with teachers who are new to the profession. At Western, PAR consulting teachers work with 22 teachers this academic year. They provide weekly and often daily ongoing support, strategies, and assistance that directly impact student learning. Prior to PAR working with Western High School, our school retained less than 30% of our first-year teachers. This year, only one teacher will be leaving the profession. This puts Western High School's first year new to the profession of teaching retention at 95%. PAR consultants are changing the overall transiency rate of educators at Western High School. Student learning and student outcomes ultimately are positively impacted by the retention of teachers. Teachers who are reflective and teachers who work collaboratively within their schools to plan and implement highly effective lessons. PAR consulting teachers foster the needed support for teachers new to the profession to effectively grow and develop into effective educators. Since we are still classroom teachers, we have professional conversations based on the NEPF and best practices. Our work is supportive, not evaluative, and we are able to encourage our mentees to reflect on their growth. We work with some new teachers who are able to pick up their craft quickly and help them become more skilled and other teachers who would most likely quit or be non-renewed without our support. On my particular caseload, I nominated one of my mentees for Clark County School District's New Teacher of the Year award. And on the other end of the spectrum, I worked with a teacher that, through my work, I was able to save her from being non-renewed. And the only reason that she was non-renewed, based on the feedback that I got from her supervising administrator, was that she knew that she would be receiving a second year of PAR support. We brought for you today two documents. One is our Peer Assistant and Review newsletter that we would like to share with you. We put these out quarterly, and they teach the new teachers and the people on staff what we do, what the NEPF standards are that we're covering. And then we also put together a document that includes statements from the principal that I just shared with you and other PAR mentees that indicates the level of support that we give them. We hope that and ask that you will help us as we seek to provide support for our new teachers through Peer Assistance and Review by supporting SB 300. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, next. Go ahead.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, my name is Dolly Rowan. I'm a classroom teacher in the Clark County School District. I come to you to just share a story. I remember years ago watching a teacher, a first-year teacher, struggled every day. She tried She kept trying. She had the heart and soul of a marvelous teacher. But our site kept sending in their specialists, and their specialists kept giving her advice, and she followed every one of them. But each one gave her different advice. And she struggled, and she kept trying. Second year, it got worse. I went to my vice president of our union and said, we need to do something. We need to help teachers like this. They need consistency. They need support daily that stays with them to help shape and mold them. We lost this teacher, and she had the heart and soul of what we need from every teacher. She was so committed, but she didn't, in my opinion, receive the support she needed. Our union has created the PAR Review Committee, and they do an excellent job. And what I would like to see is not only that you support it, but that we someday can expand it not to just at-risk schools, but at-risk teachers. And that we can also have these fine people that are the best of the best, train those at sites so that we can expand this at every site. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Go ahead.
Chair Woodhouse, members of the committee, my name is Stephen Augsburger. I represent the Clark County Association of School Administrators and Professional Technical Employees. We too are in strong support of passage of this bill. I think you've heard today principal testimony from Principal Pendleton in Clark County, Principal Marcoussis here today. We've heard anecdotal comments that were read by other principals. Participating principals support this program. I think this has been one of the best things that we've done in the Clark County School District to improve retention and quality of new teachers. I think one of the unanticipated outcomes of this has been the increased collaboration between principal and teacher, and just as importantly between leadership of CASA, which is the bargaining group for administrators, and CEA. It's been a great opportunity to work together on something that's great for employees and that has superior outcomes for kids. We strongly encourage this passage. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, thank you. I do not see anyone else in support here in Carson City or in Las Vegas, so I will now go to neutral testimony. So if you have anyone speaking neutral, if you would come forward, please. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair. For the record, Lindsay Anderson, representing the Washoe County School District. Here in neutral only, since we haven't seen an official mock-up, we appreciate Senator Dennis mentioning in his testimony and several others that the PAR program in Washoe is also critically important to supporting our new and struggling teachers. A couple comments that I want to make, and then I have my subject matter expert here to just give really quick testimony about how it's going in Washoe. But you heard testimony about using Montgomery County as kind of the baseline for starting this program. And if you'll remember, Dr. Heath Morrison, who was the superintendent in the Washoe County School District in 2011, actually came directly from Montgomery County. And so he brought with him that passion and expertise of the PAR program in Montgomery County and wanted to start it in Washoe. And so we looked for strategic grant opportunities to start the pilot program in the Washoe County School District at that time. As we were talking, you heard testimony about the teacher evaluation change in 2011. So that program's been operating in the Washoe County School District. Some of those grant programs that were federally funded are now coming to an end. And if you haven't heard, that there are budget challenges in the Washoe County School District, and while we are trying to keep as many teachers as we possibly can in classrooms, this is one of the programs that we have to consider for a possible cut so we can maintain as small class sizes as possible, and that's not where we want to be. And so we appreciate being considered for being amended into this bill, and I would like to ask Dr. Mike Paul to just give a few brief comments about the success of the PAR program in the Washoe County School District. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, committee members. Mike Paul from the Washoe County School District. I'm the director of the Professional Growth Systems, and I've overseen our PAR committee from its inception. And as Lindsay Anderson said, we started with the PAR program in 2013-14 school year with a small pilot group of 7 schools. And this year we are on our third year of full implementation district-wide. And it has been hugely successful, and to be honest, way more successful than we had imagined from the very beginning. With our PAR program, we have been able to include all of our first-year teachers for all 3 years of full implementation. And in addition to that, we are very happy to be able to include all of our veteran teachers who have been identified as struggling through the evaluation process, either through a minimally or ineffective evaluation. So that has been a big boost for us to be able to identify those veteran teachers who need assistance. And very briefly, a couple of the statistics that we are very proud of. For instance, last year with our first-year teachers, we had 421 new hires last year, and we were able to retain 89% of those first-year teachers last year, and we really are strongly feel that that is because of our PAR program and our consulting teachers and the outstanding work that they do. And with our veteran teachers that we work with, that our consulting teachers work with, over the course of the last 2 years, we have had 34 veteran teachers identified to participate in our PAR program. And out of those 34 teachers, we've had 77% of them that we feel have been successfully transitioned through our PAR program. And what we feel as being successful is either achieving an effective evaluation and put back into the classroom as, working with our students again in an effective manner, or, there are some teachers that are identified as, they're just not, shouldn't be in our classrooms anymore, and we've helped transition them out, or either through resignations or non-renewals of contract, and we've just helped them to make that decision. So we do have a very successful program, and as Ms. Anderson said, we are facing that budget shortfall right now, and to be able to receive some additional funding, we very strongly feel we can keep this strongly successful program right where it should be and continue with the work that we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Senator Kekeffer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Anderson, do you know how much Washoe spends on its PAR program?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to Senator Kekeffer, Lindsay Anderson for the Washoe County School District. I don't have the number in total. The amount that we proposed to Senator Dennis and Senator Woodhouse for inclusion was $400,000, would keep our program operating at full capacity.
Annually or over the biennium?
Annually.
Thank you.
Further questions? Okay, Ms. Anderson.
It's so much fun when there's two of us up here with Anderson. My name is Nathan Anderson, and I'm the president of the Washoe Education Association. And I am I'm again also in the neutral position. PAR is a wonderful, wonderful program. I think we've heard from many educators from all different areas about how wonderful it is. I can tell you that in Washoe, we have been doing this for some time, and it is very successful. I was in a school that one of those teachers that didn't make it was very upset about when the PAR panel came back and said, I don't think this is your profession. And he had been teaching for probably 8 or 9 years. He was a great teacher at one point. There were some other things that happened. The PAR panel has to do that. And I think as an association, we love our profession. And we want to make sure that it is going the way it should be, both for our novice as well as our experienced teachers. The PAR panel allows for that. It's not only the mentor teachers that come in, the consulting teachers that come in and observe the person, but then it's also the presentation in front of the PAR panel where they say, have you thought about this? Have you done this? So it's many people owning this wonderful profession. And so we'd like to have it expanded or continuing on in Washoe, but the budget crisis is something that we're very concerned about. And so we'll be asked to be included in this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of Ms. Anderson? Thank you very much. Do I have anyone else who wishes to speak in neutral? Okay, we'll move on to opposition. Do we have anyone here in Carson City or in Las Vegas who wishes to speak in opposition to Senate Bill 300? Seeing no one. Okay, we will go to Senator Dennis for final comments.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you've heard, there is a huge need for this program. Being the spouse of a first grade teacher who's in her 6th year, who's having a rough year this year with some kids, and questions every day whether she wants to continue to teach. you know, as the year goes on, things happen, and some years are better than others. I think, you know, she was fortunate. She didn't participate in this particular program, but she's had some mentors that have been there to help her. So I know how important it is to have a mentor. And also, as the father of a senior this year who is going to do a student teaching in the fall, I see how important it is to be able to provide those support for teachers. As I see teachers in my schools, in my district, the challenges that they have, and just to provide that extra help for those teachers so that they can succeed. It's hard when you've got, not in addition to being a new teacher, but also having all the challenges associated with working in schools that have high ELL populations, or you know, at risk, and other challenges that come. You know, I wish we could, you know, completely fund all the teachers that need this, and hopefully maybe at some day we get to that where we could figure that out, because I think that that's how, you know, we're making an investment in our children, making investment in our teachers, so that we can have great success. And I know that the goal is to do everything we can to have the best education system so that our kids can continue to learn. And as we know, they're our future. Every day that goes by, I realize how important it is to help our children in that future. So I appreciate the support, and hope we can move this forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Dennis. And I can't let this opportunity go by to put something on the record regarding my experience in this field. As most of you know, I'm a retired educator, and was recruited to come to Clark County to be a first grade teacher a very long time ago, long before this mentorship was a something that was done. But I came to Clark County School District with 4 other teachers. 3 were elementary teachers and 1 was a middle school teacher. All of us had excellent preparation at our college. But after the first year, I stayed at the Clark County School District, and my 4 friends went back home, which was a great loss, I thought, to Southern Nevada and those kids, because the students that they would have had over the years, they all went on to be teachers either in Montana or in Washington State. But I had 2 mentors when I was starting my teaching, but the other 4 girls that came with me to Clark County did not have mentors in their buildings, and I think it made a difference. So I would second Senator Dennis's comment that I hope we can move forward with this as the session goes along. So with that, I think we have no further questions, and I'm going to close the hearing on Senate Bill 300.